And welcome to another episode of JP and the Beans Talk.
Hey!
It's me, it's JP, and we have a guest.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hey, this is
Glad to be
Mason.
Okay.
Younger brother, taller for some reason, so we'll just live with it.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Get in on that. But per usual, there's a good energy in the gym, Riley.
Always.
Here we are. We're fresh off of Christmas.
Yes, and all our Christmas wishes were granted via the Spider-Man movie.
And if not, there's another 300 some days until the next Christmas, and who knows when the next Spider-Man movie will come out.
Absolutely. If you didn't get the beanbag chair this year, just wait, ask again for next year.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you didn't get that you wanted?
A beanbag chair. But I have to buy one myself. I was actually planning on getting it myself anyways. I need a better, more comfortable chair to play video games on.
So
watch
the beanbag
movies.
chair.
Yes,
Okay.
and something I can fall asleep on and not.
So you're going giant beanbag chair?
Yes.
Good.
For
Don't
comfort.
Go small. Don't go small.
No, absolutely not.
Go huge.
Go big or
It's
go
honestly
home.
Not about the sack as much as the contents you're throwing in there.
Yeah.
Because really, it needs to be soft, but you can't let it be too hard.
Sack and hard and soft. So much.
I'm not gonna say-
double, triple, quadruple entendres.
I just feel like it was
Sacks.
getting set up on a tee right there.
Right,
I was just,
right,
I was like,
right.
I'll let JP hit it if he wants to.
Let me tell you
Otherwise,
what,
we'll just let it sit.
beanbag chairs are great.
Yes.
Happy for you. Do you have your eye on a particular beanbag chair?
No, I need to
Okay.
do.
You're
I
gonna
saw
do a
one.
little Googling.
Yes, I saw one that has a blanket in it, which sounds like a trap almost.
A
So it's like
blanket
a
inside.
beanbag
No,
cape.
like on it, attached. Yeah, like a cape almost. So you would just sit in the beanbag chair and then throw it over your body.
I wouldn't trust it.
That's what I'm saying. It's a
No,
trap.
Don't trust it.
Because
your instincts
once,
are right.
once the blanket's on, you're not getting out of that.
No, don't
There's
trust
no
it.
way.
Bring your own blanket. Don't
Yes.
trust the blanket that comes with the beanbag.
I technically have one more Christmas coming up at the end of the next month,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping they picked up the hint that I wanted a mini trampoline. If you're wondering, I am a child, yes. This is not up for debate.
Would you like to use the one that I have set up in our garage?
Oh, okay, it's almost like that, but it's like one of those
Somehow not.
it's
the
for
same.
working out.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
what it is.
Sure.
But I'm going to use it for recreational
There
purposes.
you go. There you go. That's fine.
Because
Good for
I'm
you.
going to work out, but not on that. That's a trampoline. That
At least you
needs
didn't
to be
ask for a
jumped on.
Bosu ball. That'd be a little sad.
A Bosu ball?
A Bosu ball, you know what that is?
No.
So
Educate
exercise
me.
ball, it's like cut in half,
Oh.
solid plastic.
Oh, that thing?
Yep.
And then you do squats on it? Something like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
used
I
it for
hated those.
Rehab back in the day. They're not great.
No, they suck.
They do.
Why would you want that for a Christmas
I'm
present?
glad you're asking for a beanbag chair and a
Yes.
mini trampoline instead.
Did you get anything good?
I bought myself a grill.
Oh, yes, you did discuss this.
Yeah. I'm still on that high.
Did you use it yet?
I've used it a couple of times. It's fantastic.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, a little strong. Burns things a little more quickly than I'm used to, so I gotta adjust.
Well,
We'll get
someday
there.
we'll have burgers on that and then eat them while we talk. Does this not sound like a great plan?
Sounds like a great idea.
And then we'll celebrate the grill entirely as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring beer. And then I'll just round it out
Seems like a
perfectly.
good summertime
Yep.
podcast.
Absolutely.
Well, in the meantime, is that it? Should we be done?
I mean, speaking of celebrating, this is your guys' 20th episode, right?
Oh my gosh, it's true.
This is episode 20.
This
Wow.
is episode 20.
It's
2-0.
It's hilarious. He knew that
Yeah.
more than we did.
Yeah.
So this is why we bring people on.
We're out of the teens into the young adult
That's a
stage,
milestone right there.
Hence the beanbag chair,
It's a milestone.
trampoline, and grill. That's right. Wow, that's great. Good for us. Do you ever think we'd make it to 20, or do you think 3?
No, I honestly, I saw us evolving into rocking chairs
Ooh.
and then
Okay.
dying.
All set.
Elder
Yep.
podcasters.
That's the way I want to go.
Okay.
Although it'd be weird if we both died at the same time, since you have
You know what? That's an acceptable way to go. The other acceptable way would be in an explosion.
That-
So
actually,
maybe we incorporate that.
Fun
Rocking
fact.
chairs explode.
fun fact, I have 2 permittable ways for me to die.
Okay.
One of them is an explosion.
Sure.
Yes. The other one is a harpoon through the chest.
Wow.
Wow, what
Yes.
name is Steve Irwin brings that on?
That's just because that's an epic way to go.
All right, well.
That can't be topped. What took him out? A harpoon took him out.
Nobody
Well-
would question.
They're like, is he fighting pirates? Like,
It's like,
Yeah, pretty
whales.
much.
One or the
Whales.
other. Yeah.
I'm going after this world's Moby Dick, except it's more like a giant squid or something. It's very stormy out. The other guy that's manning the other harpoon, spins around because the wind hits.
Sure, it has a misfire.
Yep, misfires,
Yep.
hits me, but somehow hits the squid too, and we go out together.
Ooh.
That's my way.
Okay.
Man.
That's great. It's making me think of, there was a brief period in my life where I would watch the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Excellent show. Continue.
There is a tremendous episode in that show where two of the characters choose to fake their deaths to hide from another character.
Are we talking about the car scene?
Yes.
Because the car scene is amazing.
And they don't just take the simple way of faking their death. They craft this elaborate, hey, we have to crash a car into a building so it explodes because, of course, you're going to die in an explosion.
Absolutely.
And so they make the effort. They drive the car right at the building with the idea of, hey, we're going to jump out at the last possible second. The car is going to explode. And so they drive right at the building, fail to jump out.
Just the one.
Just the one guy. That's right. The one guy is out immediately. He's like, no, you go. Only you need to go. And so then he drives and just never hops out. Just smashes right into the building. Gives himself a concussion.
Oh
And, of course, the plan fails miserably.
And then they're like, we need teeth. And so one of them just can naturally pull out teeth. His own teeth. He just naturally he's like, they just keep coming. He's like, stop.
What?
Leave them in.
Dental hygiene, not his strong suit.
No,
at all.
no.
No. Incredible. Well, fake deaths, real deaths, whenever it comes. Happy episode 20. What a great time. And let's commemorate it by not ending it here. Let's talk about some Spider-Man.
Let's do it.
Does that sound reasonable?
It sounds semi-reasonable, yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I heard there was a Spider-Man movie that came out.
Yeah, I
Yep.
heard about it.
Okay. Did you care for it?
It was all right.
Sure.
Okay, I can't do it. It was fucking amazing. Pardon my French, but this was what I've been waiting for years. So the only thing that I regret about that movie is I didn't cry more than I should have, and I didn't cry at all.
I wept 3 times.
You wept 3 times. Hold on.
I 3 different points. I definitely cried. Yeah.
Cried or wept?
What
Because
were-
Cried. I didn't.
Okay.
No,
Because-
wept is great. Wept is great. What were the 3 points?
Sure. So obviously I don't need to say spoiler alert, right? We're just diving right in. Right.
We spoil
That's
it
what
for
I
the
thought.
dozens that listen.
Great, all dozen of you.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
Aunt May died,
Yep.
started tearing up at that point. I went back and forth whether she was actually dead or not. Like when she got hit by the glider, I was like, oh, she's dead.
Boy, they messed with us.
Then she got up
They messed
and
with
she
us.
started
Hung
out.
in
I was
there.
like, oh, maybe not. I was like, okay.
Mhm.
But then, yeah, so that was very sad.
Okay,
Then,
Aunt May.
When the other 2 Spider-Men come to kind of confront and console Tom,
Yep.
I
was
like
pretty
as soon
powerful.
as Toby just goes like, "I'm sorry about May," I was just like, I was like,
So am I!
yes, I'm
So
sorry
am
too. Oh man, and just what was the 3rd point? It's like right at it's the ending. Yeah, honestly.
Hey,
at the
lean in
ending.
over here a little
yeah,
more.
right
There
over
you go.
right near
There
the
you go.
ending. Just tearing up, just kind of like that moment of like, man, like how they kind of succeed and like pulled it off.
Yep.
I won't get to the rest of it. So yeah, those kind of 3
Okay,
points there.
3 moments. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll dive in deeper.
Yeah,
That's
So
good.
the moment
It was strong. It was great.
the moment I wish I would have cried was when
Yeah.
Toby came out.
Yeah.
You were right next to me sitting down, and I'm sure you heard my excitement.
Yeah.
Yes. I was very
If somebody
excited.
wasn't excited at that point, they probably just should have left.
Well-
Because unreal.
I mean, I wish the rest of our row would have left. That's another story for another
Ooh.
time.
Yep.
But
True.
Did you guys have any doubts about Toby or Andrew actually being in the film?
A single-digit percentage.
Okay.
I would agree with that. It was probably like 9, just because it's like, at this point, the way they've been foreshadowed throughout the entire first half of the movie, as like, if y'all don't pull this off right now,
Like the whole thing is just gonna tank.
this whole movie will burn to the ground. Like, you know how
Right.
many movie theaters would have been destroyed?
That's actually
Legitimately
really scary
vandalized.
point.
Like,
Angry nerds
absolutely.
with fire.
Like, there's a good chance they reshot the entire second half of the movie because they're like, oh, people think Toby and Andrew are going to be in this.
Right.
Sure.
We're going to all die.
We're gonna lose our jobs.
Well, I mean, it was the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Even for those of us that don't seek that out, it was just, it was such a not secret that it was pretty apparent that they were going to be in it. And I have to remember to do this, so I got to do it now. I do owe Marvel marketing an apology, which I don't think they're actually looking for from me. But I was pretty tough.
We'll make sure they get it.
Right. Nonetheless, there it is. I was pretty tough on that last trailer for how weak I thought it was relative to the amount of hype that Marvel and Sony, I should say, kind of put it out there of, oh, this is going to be an incredible trailer. You're not going to want to miss this. And I thought, man, they're going to show Andrew and or Toby. None of that. Not even like a strong hint. And so I was furious at the time. Like, that was a waste of my time. And yet, having seen the movie, I'm so glad they did not show either Toby or Andrew in any of the trailers.
I agree.
Because there is no way that it would not have taken from the impact of seeing them in the movie for the first time. That was outstanding. It was flawlessly executed. It was so strong, so powerful. It was incredible. So my apologies, Marvel, Sony, whoever the flip you are that made those decisions on how to put those trailers together. You stuck to your guns. You knew we don't even need to release a trailer and people are going to come to this movie. And they were right.
It's true.
So,
And
lesson learned.
And the bonus for that too, like the fact that they didn't show them at all, because and everybody's hearing all this hype that they're going to be in it. There's still that shred of doubt that they won't be. So you're like, I have to go. I have to go now because I have to figure out if they're going to be in it or not.
Yeah. Like I said, single-digit percentage of me thought they weren't going to be in it. The vast majority of me thought, oh, they're in it. There's no way they're not in it. And it was still powerful to see them in it. And you're absolutely right. There was still enough doubt where you're like, but what if they're not?
Yeah. It's true.
Riots, vandalism, all the good things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding either. It would have happened.
Were you planning yourself?
No.
Like,
Well, I mean...
do you have torches underneath your seat?
I mean, if... Let's just say, per se, Andrew shows up, Toby doesn't. Yeah, I torched the whole thing to the ground.
Ooh. Okay.
Although Andrew, I will say this, Andrew is probably my favorite Spider-Man out of the three.
Sure.
Which
in this film or just overall?
In this film, which I did not think I would say, but I think he had the most... I felt like he was the most Spider-Man out of the three.
Yeah.
Like he had the best charisma, which is saying a lot.
That really is.
Okay, let's save that rabbit hole because it's a great one. We're gonna go down it. So I hear you liked the movie.
Just a little bit.
Okay, it was good. Mason, did you like the movie?
Yeah, absolutely, just smashing. It was great.
Yeah.
Had a wonderful time. It just pulled me right back into all the Spider-Man feels. Hit all the right points. My one high point of the entire movie, I could probably talk the whole time about this, but Norman Osborn.
Woof.
The best depiction of Green Goblin. In my opinion, I thought that was great. I enjoyed that immensely. Like the sadistic, the crazy, like full-blown, like power hungry, actually strong, like that fight between him and Tom.
That was amazing. That first fight,
great.
oh, it was so good.
And he's just like beating on his face, and he just starts laughing. It's just like, oh my gosh, like this is like top tier Spider-Man villain. Like, that was great.
And the best part of that is they interviewed Willem Dafoe, and he said the only way I come back and do this is if I do the fight scenes myself.
Yep.
Willem Dafoe,
which is a badass. That's so badass.
Yeah, very genuine on his part. I loved it as well, you guys. It is rare that I go into a movie with high expectations, which I think it was impossible not to have high expectations. And I was making a conscious effort to not let the expectations get too high. It doesn't matter. They were still high.
Oh, mine were through the roof.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
It is rare for those expectations to be high, to see the movie, and to have those high expectations not just met, but exceeded. Like, it was better.
That's a great feeling.
Than I thought it could be. And that's rare. And so after we've seen, multiple Marvel movies the last couple years they've been okay. They've been good. Nothing at that level. And so I think you do have to take the time to appreciate how unique that experience was, and maybe temper expectations for other movies when they're just fine, and go, hey, you know what? Not every movie can reach that particular height, that particular set of peaks. That was just,
for sure.
It was incredible. And there will never be, I can't think of what another example of a movie could possibly be that pays off 20 years of one character, right? Like, that was 20 years worth of Peter Parkers that we got to partake in and enjoy. It was just a flippin' feast. And we're going to get more multiverse action obviously,
for sure.
in the coming years. Marvel and, hilariously, DC. We won't talk too much about that.
You didn't have to do them dirty like that.
Yeah, right. But I did nonetheless. But we're not going to get this where we had 3 different actors that have each brought their own element, their own flavor, their own variety to that role.
No Batman crossover?
I know Michael Keaton's coming. We won't go down that rabbit hole. But that's just, I don't think it's going to happen again. I can't believe it happened.
No.
Can't believe they pulled it off. So awesome. Awesome movie. Just great. About as good as it gets right there. Not perfect, but about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
So, Riley, what'd you like about the movie?
What did I like about
Yeah,
the
Toby
movie?
was in it. That's good.
I mean, I could talk about Tobey Maguire's
it.
Spider-Man for about 14 hours and not get to the
Trim
point.
it down a bit, but do talk about it.
So, I'm going to be honest. I could go to that movie again and skip the first hour.
Okay.
I don't need the first hour. Honestly, the movie for me could start right when he's trying to help all the villains. That's where that movie could start for me.
Sure.
And I'd be satisfied. So, oh man, there's so much running in my head right now.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So, I think the most hyped I got was probably when Toby when Toby showed up. Was
Yep.
probably the most hyped I got.
Yep.
I think it was nice that it wasn't different versions. It is those legit Spider-Men.
Correct.
Which
Yeah.
was a slight worry of mine, is that they'd be altered,
Mine as well.
and
Yeah.
they were not. So thank God.
Yeah, they were allowed to be
Themselves.
who they've always
yes, absolutely. And then watching the 3 Peter Parkers on the scaffolding interact with each other was brilliant. Their chemistry, all 3 of them together, is incredible. And then watching them fight together, which is not, I mean, their whole fight scenes and then them landing on the head or whatever, fantastic.
Yep.
Man,
It's incredible.
Yeah. We touched on the Green Goblin fight at first. I'm so glad Toby didn't die, because I would have.
Did you think he was dead?
I was like,
I mean, I could see him getting stabbed a mile away.
for
As soon as
sure.
he jumped down
I
there,
was like,
he's
oh.
getting stabbed.
no,
Come on.
well, they
Come
had
on, don't kill him.
They had it on that frame for way too long. You're like,
Yeah.
don't
It's
do
like
this
fate.
to me. It was Tony Stark getting stabbed in Infinity War all over again, because I
good
thought
comparison.
they were killing Tony there.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
Oh,
and I was like,
really?
And I was like,
Oh,
Tony's
man.
dead. I was like, they're gonna kill Tony here. Tony will not be in
Oh,
Endgame.
my
I
gosh.
legit had that thought process, and I was like, we are screwed. And then they did it. They did it with Toby. I was like, okay, this is not a bad ending for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but not now.
I'm too raw.
Don't bring him
open
back.
my heart back up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Don't break my heart. Yeah, pretty much it. Don't give him back to me and then take him away again.
Oh my god.
I just
So-
thought I could trust love again.
I will say, I am not a predictor. I was way off with this movie. You did a better job at predicting
Sadly.
than I did.
Sadly.
So, it was also and you talked about the other 2 Spider-Men comforting him and talking him through that.
Yeah.
And for me, it was important because I think I realized why it was important for May to die, because May was his Uncle Ben.
Yeah. Because everyone was thinking oh, that happened. We already had Uncle Ben, and they just
Right.
skipped it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So for that to be there, I'm guessing, my guess is Uncle Ben died a long time ago, maybe with his parents. I don't know. But for her
Yeah.
to be that for him, it makes way more sense now why they killed her. And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, I did not want to be right that Aunt May was dying. That was devastating. That was crushing. That
Yeah.
was crushing.
That one hurt.
Oh,
She was
Oh.
so pretty.
and that she had that quality going for her. Yeah,
But
but it was so devastating and so well done. And I thought it was very possible because of how important her character, of all the characters that are in this version of Peter Parker's life going into this movie, I thought who would hurt the most for him to
Yeah.
lose?
yeah.
It would be her, and that was just as simple as my thought process was. But like you said, when it happened, the initial glider hit, I'm like, dead. Then she gets up, it's like, oh,
Not bad.
winged, not dead,
Yeah.
not dead. It's like, oh, she's getting a little wobbly. Oh, farts, they are killing her. It was tough. But the fact that they took that Aunt May character and went the Uncle Ben route, it felt very believable.
Yeah.
It didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like hey, we're just doing a gender swapping thing because it just felt like a
multiversal
true
this fits.
true version of this Peter Parker and his path. So incredibly well done.
And if you think about it too, in like alternate universes and stuff, they never really talk about that being the other way around. We've
Sure.
never had like an Uncle Ben be a consistency and have Aunt May out of the picture.
Yep.
So it's really,
That's a good point.
it's a really cool thing. And then finally, the thing that probably made me the happiest the most out of this entire movie, I think we're finally going to get a grounded, comic accurate Spider-Man.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
that is what I'm
absolutely.
excited about because first of all, the new suit looks amazing. That's going to be the best
Hand
comic
sewn,
accurate.
Like, it's not like
Yep.
Stark Tech or anything crazy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We're getting like, I think this is Tom Holland's best performance as Peter Parker Spider-Man. Like,
Agreed.
he goes through the whole emotions. He actually wanted to kill somebody. That's a comic accurate
That-
Spider-Man.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Have you read the one like where like Kingpin actually goes after Aunt May? Right.
I've seen the panels, and he beats the living shit out of him in a prison cell.
Really? A Kingpin one?
Yeah, so
Yes.
he's got the black suit, not the
Yep.
Venom suit, but the black
No,
suit.
he knows what he's doing.
Yep, and he's Kingpin's
Okay.
threatened to kill her, and he
Yep.
comes in there, gets in and just throttles him. It's not even close. Kingpin didn't have a
Nice.
chance.
Nice.
He's like, I will kill you next time
Yeah.
if you even try to go near her.
Oh my gosh.
So,
That's fantastic.
and that's what I mean. That's what makes Peter so good is because he always rides the line and always picks the right way. And we see this on multiple occasions, and especially with Green Goblin. I mean, he had to be stopped by himself, by another one of themselves. But
Still counts.
his rage has taken over, and we finally see it.
Yeah.
So, and now he's going to be in this shitty apartment in New York where nobody knows him, and he's going to be a bummer, and it's great. So hopefully he's in the Daily Bugle.
I was gonna say, are
taking
we gonna see him
pictures.
working for Daily Bugle or not?
Goodness.
Oh
So-
man.
Oh my goodness.
I'm looking
Bring
forward
back
to
J.
it.
Jonah's hair. Give him hair plugs.
I don't think it'll
Is that
happen.
allowed? I don't think
Give
we
it back.
I don't think it'll happen. I think he's just going to look like that.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
No, but you're right. Really good performance by Tom. They put him through. I mean, they put the Spider-Man character through a lot more in this movie than they had in any of the previous two movies. Like, it was legitimately like Spider Boy. It's like,
Yeah, pretty much.
which is fine. That's where they chose to set the character, but the stakes had never been that significant.
Yeah.
Where everything that went wrong in this story was entirely on his shoulders, and he had to deal with those consequences.
Yeah, he made choices purely out of what was right, and he does it every time, and that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most comic accurate he's been, and that's why I'm so excited.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
it's gonna
character
be-
progression was pretty doggone tremendous. Yeah. Okay, Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
This is my one question for you.
Yep.
Okay, first of all,
Yep.
Marvel, we didn't. I mean, I'm kind of upset that's how we got the teaser trailer, and because it feel like we got robbed of an actual end credit trailer.
I agree.
There's truth in
Because
Yeah.
they just released the trailer online like the day after.
Yep.
And I was like, what was the point of this?
Mhm.
But the main question I have, because there's rumors that they're going to be bringing other former Marvel characters, like 2003 Hulk, Eric Bana, or
What?
whatever, is rumored to make an appearance, but he can't turn into the Hulk anymore, apparently. His Bruce Banner is supposed to make a slight appearance, which
Tender mercies.
which brings up a very big possibility that this is when the X-Men come in. But my question to you,
Yep.
do you think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man comes in this one? Just because it's Sam Raimi.
Oh no.
I don't think so either. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what we could see. This one's going to be crazier.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Let's come back to that in this, because we should talk a little bit of what we think we'll see in Doctor Strange. But for now, in this movie, what'd you think of what we got from Doctor Strange? And I bring him up here because he was critical at the beginning, right? Helping Peter out Probably shouldn't have. Probably a bad move, right? Peter's being irresponsible. Doctor Strange is right there with him.
Enabling.
Like the adult who's like telling the kid, like, so you want to throw a party. So how many kegs do you need? It's like, wait a minute. Uncle Steven, this is not the right move. Be the fun uncle that's not an idiot and say, no, you can't do that. I mean, what was he thinking? Also, how about Wong being Sorcerer Supreme
You didn't.
for the time being? See that one coming?
But that actually makes sense
Sure.
why he's the one that shows up at the end of Shang-Chi, and I am
Right.
completely okay with it.
Yep. Helps flesh that out.
It
a
makes
little bit.
way more
That's
sense.
a really good point. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think the one qualm I had, I understand, like, they did it well enough. Should Spider-Man really be beating Doctor Strange? Should that really even happen?
No.
Okay, all right. So we're on the same page there. That was preposterous.
I think
right?
I think it's just pure underestimation.
Yep.
I think it was pure luck, pure underestimation. Come on, he's gonna be like, "Oh, this is just geometry." Bullshit. It's just geometry. You're gonna predict how the angles work in a mirror realm. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, that was a little thin for me. It was still good to have Doctor Strange in the movie. I continue to enjoy the crossovers that take place
Yes.
within the solo films. That's great. Yeah, I can't believe how irresponsible he was. Like, just throwing out these massively impactful spells. Like, you know what? You convinced me. How? All he said was, I'd like to do this. Like, my life is hard. And think about how not hard Peter Parker's life is at the beginning of this movie.
Oh, right.
Right? Like, the worst thing that has happened to him is he didn't get into MIT. For now.
Yeah.
It's not over. It's not a done deal. And think about how hard his life is by the time the movie's done. It's like, no, really wish you hadn't made that first mistake, huh?
I don't know. Have you seen Tobey Maguire with the paparazzi?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it was like, probably.
Yep. That's fair.
I highly
I'm wondering
encourage.
because like, ex-Avenger status or current Avenger status, however like that's laid out. Where's like the support from like anyone else in the community? Like, where's like Doctor Strange like making some public statement or anything like that? Instead of just like, oh, just hey, you know
On
what?
Peter Parker's behalf.
Yeah, your name's getting dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Instead of everyone else going like, no, like there's no way this is true.
Yep.
Like that's rough.
Yep. Yeah.
That is a thought. Well, and because to your point, it's like trying to go back. Like Thor's off-world, Guardians are off-world.
Yep.
You have Doctor Strange is probably the only one, and they probably aren't too.
Actually, a really good point.
And they probably aren't too familiar. Cap's
Sure.
dead. Iron Man's dead. Black Widow's dead.
Bruce
you have
Banner?
that's one that you could go with, and then you have. But after that, like, who else is there? Black Panther's off doing whatever he wants. They're not going to care about him.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Captain Marvel off
Less
world.
support than you might think.
Yeah, that's a good point. No.
Yeah.
Because I think that's it. Because Hawkeye's not going to do shit.
No.
He doesn't care.
No.
Like,
Again,
the kid screwed himself.
Hawkeye doesn't even know who the guy is.
No.
No.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me ask this question, all right? Because this ties into a little bit of Doctor Strange, a little bit of Spider-Man. When the original, is that how I want to phrase that? When Doctor Strange and Peter Parker are having that initial conversation, they've wrangled Doc Ock, Lizard, Sandman as well, right off the bat.
No, just
No,
those two.
thank you. You're right. Sandman and Electro came later. And Doctor Strange is like, hey, we're just going to have to send these guys back. And Peter balks real hard.
Gosh.
Right or wrong decision by Peter to try and save these guys? Your thoughts? Because quite the moral conundrum here. I'll spoil it for you. Wrong decision.
I agree.
Send them back.
Yep.
These are bad dudes, made bad decisions, suffered the consequences. That's it. Send them back. That's where I'm at.
I gotta disagree.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, Green Goblin,
Sure.
not his fault in the sense that he went insane. It is his fault that he went insane, but anything he does with the Goblin Serum, that's not 100% on him because he's
No
insane.
way. That's so on him. That is fully on Norman.
It's just
no way.
It's just his fault that he's there.
And I only say that because I'm thinking, like, psychotic-wise,
Yep.
like, how much are you in control of that? And I don't think you see him fighting himself. Because when it's just Norman, Norman doesn't want to do anything. He's hanging out with Aunt May, eating soup. That's, like, his goal. He's like, I just want soup. And then you have Doc...
Donuts in the pocket, yeah.
And then you have Doc Ock with the thing that went out. That's not his... I mean, that's...
Sure.
Did he screw around with science when he shouldn't have? Absolutely. But it's not his fault that he went insane. The robot arms took over.
Yep.
And you have Lizard, which I don't think that one was his fault either. He just wanted his arm back. And then he went insane. And then you have Sandman, who, you know, he fell in a thing, but he chose...
Sandman was never...
But he chose to be a criminal.
Yeah.
He chose to be a criminal.
That's true.
So that one, I understand. And then Electro, I haven't seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I can't... Yeah, I know. I'm going to go watch it eventually now because of this. Yes.
Did you
Neither
watch
have I.
the first one? Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, no, never saw the second one.
I watched
never
the
heard
first
good
one.
things about it, so I'm like, nah.
All right.
I watched the first one, but after this movie, I want to see the second one.
Sure.
But it's to me, Electro's the other one that I would be like, okay, you're good with getting rid of him just because he's just a dick. Like, he just wanted power the whole time. He's a dick. Whatever.
Not
But the other
a
three,
nice guy.
the other three were just trying to advance science, and it screwed themselves.
Yeah. No, okay, spoiler for Electro and the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, no, like, just scientist trying to do his thing and just gets absolutely worked over. Just,
Yeah.
It's sad.
I still say, wrong decision. Just send them back. They've got their power. They made bad decisions with them.
The only
So get rid of them.
The only reason
Send
I
him home.
semi-agree with you is because we don't know if that did anything when it went back.
Right?
Did it
Exactly.
change the timeline,
Just create another branch.
or are they,
Ugh.
or does it not matter? Because that's my only thing is I'm like, okay, you went through that whole saving process. How hilarious would it be if if they get sent back and it's like it didn't matter?
Well, have you guys watched What If much at all?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
so
we got through all that.
Doctor Strange in that.
Right.
I mean, like,
Yep.
that's the same situation. Like, he continuously tries to change it. And Spider-Man's like, oh, like, what if we could change their fate? And that's when Doctor Strange stops talking to him and, like, continues on with the fight.
Right.
But it's that same thing, like, man, like, are we, like, even really going to make that much of a difference? I agree. No, I don't think so. And it's like, why are you arguing with the Sorcerer Supreme? Or ex-Sorcerer Supreme, I should say. You're a child.
It's just it's just an immature decision. Like, I get it. It's like, hey, you want to help people?
Good
Yes.
thing, of course.
Yes. But there are also, there's just bad people. Norman Osborn, before he was the Green Goblin, not a great guy. Not a great dude.
No.
Could hold himself together long enough to carve up a Thanksgiving turkey on Aunt May's behalf, but not a great person.
That's
just
fair.
made worse
That's fair.
by that goblin serum.
Greed kind of took him on that.
Yeah. So, now, that being said, it made for a good story.
Oh, for sure.
So, good conflict, and when you've got great conflict, you come out with some great stories. So, I'm all for that moral conundrum, even while I'm disagreeing with Tom Holland's Peter Parker. Like, guy, just send him back. What are you doing? And like you said, you're arguing with the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah.
Not a great choice.
Hasn't he made it into college? Can't even make it into college.
Can't even make it into college. Yeah, pretty tough. Pretty tough. Okay, out of those villains, who'd you enjoy the most? I think we all enjoyed one in particular.
I think Green Goblin took it.
There's no doubt.
We thought
So
I thought coming in, Doc Ock, they cured him right away,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then Green Goblin, as soon as the spider sense kicked in, I was like, oh, this is gonna go down, and then it did, and then it kept going. I'm like, ha ha, and
Yeah.
then he wrote it out, and
Unreal.
I mean, they built his entrance up for the last part of the whole big showdown. I was like,
Yeah.
this is sick, because I think we talked about it too in the last
Yep.
episode. We're like,
Yep.
Green Goblin's gonna have some impact.
Right.
Right, but I thought for sure going in, I was like, Doc Ock's going to be worse than him.
When we thought there was another villain that was going to emerge,
Right.
We also
Yeah,
thought
week
that.
6.
Yes.
We didn't get the Sinister Six.
No. We thought Vulture was going to come back in some capacity. That was, I think, kind of our mutual
Yep.
feel. You were predicting Hobgoblin from Ned, which there was a hilarious scene there where which one was it? Was it Toby? Yeah, it was Toby's.
Yeah, he's
Peter
talking to
Parker,
Toby.
yeah, is talking to Ned. It's like, yeah, my best friend went crazy, died in my arms, trying to kill me.
He's just focused on this. He's like, so tragic. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking. That's right.
Ned's soul is just getting crushed.
He's convinced that that's what's going to happen to him. Because doesn't he talk to Andrew's Peter Parker? Because in Amazing Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker's friend Harry Osborn becomes
I don't think he ends
a
up
goblin
talking
version,
to
or was
Andrew.
that not part of the dialogue?
At the end, he mentions, he's like, hey, and just so you know, like, always be there for you. And then Andrew just kind of looks at him, just like pats him on the shoulder, just like, yeah, just
Yeah.
encourage him on. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, not sure what
Yeah,
you're
you
on,
will.
man, but good on. So-
Peter just wants you to know I'm not going to betray you. So yeah, we just got the
man.
five villains. The Willem Dafoe Green Goblin was unbelievable, and I loved, just like we touched on a little bit earlier, with how they allowed the 3 different Spider-Men to be who we always knew them to be. I love that they didn't try to make too big of a deal out of villains that weren't great, like Sandman being in this movie.
Negligible.
Okay, fine. But at least they didn't try and do too much with Sandman. Like, they allowed Doc Ock and Green Goblin to carry the villain load for the most part. They gave more to Electro than maybe they needed to, but it didn't detract from the movie. It didn't feel forced, because Green Goblin and Doc Ock were such great characters throughout the movie. And no surprise, they've been the best 2 Spider-Man villains we've had, I think, in the solo movies. Now, I thought Mysterio was excellent
Yep.
in Far From Home.
Yep.
Vulture was good.
I didn't
in
mind him,
Homecoming.
nope.
I enjoyed Vulture.
But I thought Mysterio, between the 2, I would prefer him. So I would have been okay if Mysterio had shown up in this movie. But
really,
sure, I didn't believe he's dead.
that's fair. You know what? That would have been.
But
I feel like that's been too much.
But kudos to those 2 guys, to Willem Dafoe, to Alfred Molina, to bring it again after 20
true.
years or a little shy of it, to still bring a phenomenal, not just energy, but somehow they're who they are. And they only got to be in one Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And it's not, like, I'm not watching Alfred Molina going, this is tough. He's trying, he's collecting the paycheck, but he's not really crushing it here. He was great. He was great in his role. And Willem Dafoe is a freak. Just a freak. Unbelievable.
My only regret with Green Goblin is the mask was not on for very long. The mask showed up for 5 seconds, and then he broke it immediately, and then never to be seen again. That was my only. I was like, but that's my beef with most superhero movies. We do way too much of the unmasking shit.
Yeah, where it's just the sake of, actor's got to get his screen time. Like,
Yeah,
you need his face. It's like,
I loved his outfit.
Exactly.
At the end. Oh, sweet. The blend with the purple.
it's like the missiles and like the knives on his wrists
Wow.
and everything. Like, very brutal. And the torn up garments, I did like that because they did kind of pay homage to like original like attire of Green Goblin. He's got like the long like flowing cap thing, and it's like rags. And it's like, what did Doctor Strange say? He's like, no, Strange's like a flying green elf. He's like, it's like, sounds whimsical. Like that.
Sounds whimsical. That's right.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was just
Yeah,
so
villains were great.
brutal. It was just
Incredible. Just incredible. Like, you can, again, we talked about how unique and rare that this movie is to have stretched 20 years into the past.
Yeah.
With the Spider-Man, to do that with the Green Goblin character. Like, we got a good Green Goblin in the original Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
And here we go, and we get the same guy playing the same version. Better.
The first one.
Better.
We don't talk about Harry's. We don't
That's
talk
what I'm
about
saying.
either of the Harrys.
No.
Just Norman.
No. Like, that was incredible. I didn't think we were going to get that much Green Goblin, period, much less that awesome and worthwhile of a Green Goblin. I also didn't know that I wanted a Doc Ock redemption story, and we got it.
You know what?
How about that?
Didn't
Otto
care for
Octavius. You didn't care for
No,
it?
I wanted more Spider-Man. Actually, when he came in and he was the fix for Electro, I was like, man. Like, I was just looking for just a triple. I was looking for the web fist beatdown. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see someone like go like, no, like let me web up your fists and then just like
Thrash.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. But instead, it's like, oh, that's right, Doc Ock was out there.
I loved it. I loved Otto Octavius coming back into the fold of the good guys. That was great. Loved it.
And it was awesome. It it also goes to show just how important Norman Osborn is to Spider-Man's
Yes.
lore, and that's what I'm hoping. I don't think it'd be William Dafoe, but I would not mind their universe introducing Norman Osborn, introducing Doc Ock, and then you have Peter who kind of has an inside look at it now from that point.
Could be the right step for Harry Osborn. Like nobody knows Peter. This could be a good introduction for new friend.
That's one of the big rumors that I heard. So we'll see if Timothée Chalamet picks up the phone because that's who they want. Really? That's who Tom and Zendaya both have been like rallying behind. They're like Timothée Chalamet for Harry Osborn.
Unreal.
Which can we just get like the old fashioned like redhead like whatever haircut you call that? Can we get that back? That'd be cool.
Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley.
Whatever that haircut is, you know what I'm talking about?
It's almost like it's not cornrows, but like what do you do?
It's like
waves.
Cornrows,
is it waves?
Cornrows high top blend. That
whatever it is.
How it was ever drawn.
The
it's like, what was the
cut.
inspiration for this?
Right?
Yeah.
Only those two men have that haircut in all of comics.
Yeah.
So just give it to me. I want it. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I think I'll be interested to see what they do because.
Yeah.
And also seeing if they keep certain actors for certain roles. Like, if they introduce Eddie Brock, will it be a different version of Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm also interested in.
Yeah. Before we get too far into the future talk, because we need to go there.
For it.
All right. The 3 Spider-Men. We touched on this earlier. We need to come back to it. So we got 3. We got Tom Holland. You got Tobey Maguire. You got Andrew Garfield. All solid in their own respects. So, in the spirit of friendly debate, who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Oh, man.
Who's your preferred Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Yeah?
Tom Holland is actually, I like you, grew up with Tobey.
Of course.
Despised Andrew because of my love for Tobey. But then when Tom was first introduced in Civil War, I was like, man, this is the right fit. Like,
okay.
He did.
So you've been on the Tom train since Civil War days.
Absolutely have.
Yep,
and I still think they've done him right because I think that balance between like, oh, he's awkward nerd, but then like you said, like he steps up to the plate.
Sure.
Like the climax scene of Homecoming with Vulture when he's like, come on, Spider-Man, he's like getting himself like back up there. He loses the suit.
Iconic
still steps
scene.
up to the plate. Like that feels like, man, like they did it again. So Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
There.
Riles?
Are we talking about this movie specifically or all time?
Both.
This movie specifically. Okay, all time. Well, we'll start all time. Still Tobey Maguire. Will always be Tobey Maguire. I'm biased. But I have said this before. Tobey Maguire's probably my favorite Peter Parker.
Sure.
And after this, I need to go watch Amazing Spider-Man 2. I need to watch 1 and 2.
I still feel very comfortable with that decision.
Because I think Andrew Garfield could be my favorite Spider-Man. Okay, and after this movie, he was my favorite Spider-Man, and this movie specifically, which I did not think I was going to say, because just his wit and his charm, and he was actually the only one, like, shooting the shit. Like, he was giving people shit here and there. It didn't matter who it was. He was, like, the only one.
Yep.
So, to me, and that's Spider-Man to me. I like my Spider-Man talking shit. Like, I want him to make villains borderline cry. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Tom in the next trilogy will have that opportunity because to me in the MCU, that's not really Spider-Man to me. Just
that's a really good point.
It's a Spider-Man. It's a good MCU Spider-Man, and it fits really well with what they were trying to do. But for me, it's not a comic accurate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So they're getting back to his roots with this next trilogy. So we'll see how that goes. But until I really see, like, he did really good in this one. I will say that.
Yeah.
The emotion was there, thank God. So we'll just you make a very valid point too with the Homecoming lifting up that's all good too.
Yeah.
But we will see on that. So Tobey Maguire, because I'm biased, will always be my favorite Spider-Man. But yes, that's great. That's all I want. I want more shit talking.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a great recap. I don't have a lot to add to that. Tobey's my guy. It's the nostalgia pick, I guess, but every time I watch the original Spider-Man movies, I love it. Like I don't there's nothing about his portrayal of Peter Parker or Spider-Man that I go, I wish this was different. It's its own version, to be sure. There's not a lot of smack talking that goes on, which is appropriate because his version of Peter Parker if he were to do that as soon as he dons the Spider-Man suit, it would just feel so out of place.
I mean, he has a few lines in there.
He's got some lines, but they feel appropriate for that version of the character. So that's always my preference. I mean, that version of Peter Parker goes through a lot from the get-go, right? Unlike the Tom Holland version, and Tobey wears that so doggone well throughout those movies. Spider-Man 2 is right up there with one of my favorite superhero movies of all time.
That was great.
But I also agree, in this particular movie, Andrew Garfield was a delight. That was outstanding. That was a great version of Peter Parker. Great. And I would take, between all three of them, who I want to see or what variety of Peter Parker I want to see in the future, it's that version. It doesn't have to be Andrew Garfield that's playing him, but to your point, yeah, more of that, please. More of the needling, the barbing, because you're absolutely right. You read the Spider-Man comics, he's just an annoying bug.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. So, outstanding.
And there has been, I'll just throw this in, I don't think we should dive into this, but like, people are talking about rumors of like, hey, let's do Amazing Spider-Man 3 now. Like, let's make it
That
happen.
got a huge rally call. And then
Massive.
Also rumors of Spider-Man 4 for Tobey Maguire, but not as much for Andrew.
I
But
don't see that happening, but I definitely could see.
I don't want to see Tobey come back.
No.
I don't. I love where they left his character at the end of this particular movie. I don't want them to... I don't see how it can do that version better by bringing him back in. Like, you did it, you crushed it, walk off Homer, don't come to the plate again. You're good. You did it. Don't come back up to bat.
not even like a Logan-esque movie though,
No,
where it's
no,
like
no,
just
no.
like an old timer. This is it.
No,
This is
I am
one
so
last ride.
satisfied with what we've received from that version of that character. Just leave it be. That's great.
I'm okay with
Absolutely
that.
love it. Yeah.
I think Andrew's probably got the most potential out of those two to come back.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if that's Sony Spider-Man, because that was kind of the rumor before this movie. It was like we're gonna have two Spider-Men.
Right, so throw Venom in.
Yep, and then Andrew will go fight Eddie Brock,
Sure.
Tom Hardy.
Sure. Okay. Before we finally get into the future talk, we got to talk about the magic. Now, it's magic, hence, it does not necessarily need to make sense. But nonetheless...
Oh, man. We're going to do this?
How does it make sense?
It doesn't.
Okay, there you go. It doesn't.
Yeah.
All right. Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker is here. Okay? 2021. Getting pulled out of his universe. Sometime prior, somehow, Doc Ock, before he dies, is getting pulled out of the same universe, but from a different point in time. So is Norman Osborn from a different point in time. What? What?
This is a watcher question right here.
It just doesn't, it doesn't make sense, and I'm okay with it, because magic. It's just magic.
I have one theory with this.
Yep.
Because I did think about this as well.
Okay, before you spout that out,
Yes.
here's my deal. I'm okay with it, but something that I heard a long time ago that I really respected is when you're building a fictional world, you have to establish what the rules are, and then you got to follow those rules.
Yeah.
Right now, with the rules or the boundaries, whatever you want to call them, as they've been explained to us, this doesn't make sense. So there is some explaining that does need to take place in future Marvel movies to help validate the mechanics of this magic. Like, and really all they need to say is, if you're going to pull somebody out of a different universe, it could be from any point in time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. But they just did it without any explanation. So I'm curious where that goes in the future. Again, okay with it. Didn't take away my enjoyment of the movie, but it just stuck out to me like, can you do that?
Point. Yeah.
So,
a lot of
okay.
those mythos worlds, but all right. So very simply, what if Andrew and Tobey were both at the point they didn't know where they were actually going to die? Because that was the common denominator amongst all the others. That was my only thought. Like, okay, what if this is because that makes sense then why they're further on advanced down and beyond these fights.
That's the common denominator. It's right before you're going to die. Okay.
How dare you say that to me?
Did we save Toby or did we just send him straight back to his death?
How
I don't know.
dare you? He got stabbed once, and you're telling me he has to go back and get stabbed again?
Maybe that was what fixed him. Maybe we also fixed the
Incredible.
Spider-Man. We didn't know it.
Incredible.
Andrew had his little arc, but I don't know. That was
Yeah.
just my one little kind of like, oh.
No, and that's great. And that
what
could
if,
be
like-
another explanation. I'm just saying that part of what I've really enjoyed about the Marvel movies as a whole is that their storytelling has not left a lot to conjecture and guesswork. Like, they have explained, even if the explanation's like, okay, but they've at least not just thrown it out there and hoped that either A, nobody notices,
Yeah.
or B, that we're all too dumb to ask the right question. And so that's a really strong pattern. That's part of the reason why I think the movies have been consistently good and occasionally outstanding. And so I don't want them to lose that. I'm just a little sensitive to that. I don't want that to get lost.
My personal guess is that it ties to Loki in the sense that
Okay.
in Endgame, Doctor Strange couldn't do that because otherwise he would just, well, he was also dead. So, but he would have popped.
Blip.
He would have also popped through time in Infinity War if that was a possibility beforehand.
Sure.
But for me, I think like to have those different spots in time, it comes down to the TVA being dismantled.
Sure.
There's no control over the timeline
It's
anymore.
chaotic.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
That's a good point.
that
great.
would be
That's
my
great.
guess, and also they're probably going to dive into that in multiverse
Yep.
madness.
Yeah. No, that's
That's gonna be the
fantastic.
main
I
topic.
think, I think an explanation that fits within the constructs of this fictional world is available. It just needs to be delivered at some point.
Yeah.
So that's great. Let's talk future. What do we think's coming next for our guy Spider-Man? Are we going to get more Tom Holland movies? Is that a
Yes,
sure thing?
trilogy has been confirmed.
Has
Yeah.
been confirmed.
It's
Okay.
been confirmed,
Okay.
and he's also supposed to arrive in one other movie.
Yeah, one joint movie.
Yes,
Like
and it hasn't been confirmed what that
Like
is
you're
yet.
saying like a Sony joint? Or
No,
a...
well, I think MCU project.
Okay.
One other MCU project, and then they're doing a trilogy with him again, which I'm very excited about.
That'd be great.
So,
Yeah, how about the fact that we got a 3-movie origin story for Spider-Man?
Honestly, that's true.
and we're getting a origin cartoon show as well
Yeah.
Okay.
with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So we're gonna get a lot of
Wow.
origin, a lot of beginning.
So coming forward, I will mention this. So I watched Spider-Man for the second time today, and one thing I was really wanting to pay attention to is when the rifts were opening up, like trying to spy, like okay, what characters
Sure.
were like.
I
showing up.
spotted one the first time, and they showed the second on a still. But go ahead.
Okay, so Rhino was really clear.
Yep, that one
right?
I was super excited about. I was
That
like,
was
oh,
great.
because it's classic.
Yes,
It's classic
yes.
Rhino. It's not that
Absolutely.
stupid ass mech
From the movie that neither of us have seen.
with Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious.
Manning
but
the
it's just
suit.
like, man. But then I saw a guy with a staff. And the first time I was like, what the heck is that? It seems kind of Wakandan. And I was like, Kraven the Hunter. I was like,
Okay.
Kraven would be such a great villain to bring in. It'd be sick.
I've been preaching Craven
Have
for
you?
oh my
Oh.
gosh, yes. Because we were disappointed about the fact that we're gonna get a Craven solo movie
Oh.
before we are going.
That's right.
Before
I
we're
totally forgot about that.
with Aaron Taylor Johnson, which is not who I would have picked either. I would have rather he just stayed dead as Quicksilver, but you
How
know.
is Morbius getting made into a real movie? How is Craven
Yes,
getting made
I
into a real
don't want to talk
movie?
about that, but yes, that's so. Like,
And how's Vulture? How's it Michael Keaton's Vulture in the Morbius movie? That's another thing to talk about.
Yikes.
Because if you watch the trailer, it is Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Yep.
Which Spider-Man universe are they throwing Morbius in?
We don't know. They haven't come out and said.
Why is he in it? Why is he
They have
in
not
anything?
come out and said what universe he is.
In the
It's the
trailer,
same
though,
with
they do
Venom.
Show, like the spray painted like Spider-Man
Yes,
back.
Yeah.
but it's
And that
not.
is Toby's, isn't
It
it?
looked like Toby's,
Okay.
but somebody else said it was the artwork for like Spider-Man PS4.
Oh.
So I don't know. They have not came out and said that yet,
Man.
and I'm very curious. But it is confirmed Venom, isn't it? Because he does say,
Oh,
you know,
Deep Sign Venom.
yeah, which is like,
Okay.
but
Neat.
yes. So that's the only thing we have with that.
So we know we're getting a Tom. Oh, you have one more thing to
last
say
thing
on
I'll
that?
I would
Yeah.
like to see Scorpion. They haven't done him yet.
They've
Teased
teased
in
him
Homecoming, right?
immensely.
They did in Homecoming. They had him.
Yep.
They had Matt Gargan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's had him all tattooed up and
Yep.
yeah. So I would like to see that personally.
Well, and the fact that they have like Michael Keaton's Vulture as well, just remember and keep to himself that Tom is Spider-Man. Now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, I feel like kind of a wash there.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure, some unrealized potential.
He's just like, I don't like you, but I don't remember why.
Amazing.
That's the other thing too. I'm curious about is what got altered because people remember Spider-Man.
Yep.
Right.
No one knows who Peter Parker is.
Just
So
absolute mystery.
what do they remember? Just anything where he's suited up. Is that it? I don't know.
So. Yeah, I think you remember Spider-Man. You just don't associate Spider-Man with a person.
I just thought that was
It's just
weird.
Spider-Man. It's just a hero that wears a mask.
I figured since you're getting rid of Peter Parker, no one will remember Spider-Man either.
Yeah. Magic.
No social security number.
Magic.
He's done.
Yet he's still studying for
Well, I
college.
Yeah, with that, I think he'll have all the documentation, right? Like he'll have a birth certificate,
Probably,
social
yeah.
security number. It's just more of a no one has a memory.
This is
of
getting back
Parker.
into your argument earlier. Just like, oh, we're the
Right.
described
This
boundaries
is
of
so
magic.
far
What's actually
right. So
happening.
far, these mechanics have yet to be properly
Yeah.
explained, so that we can
I digress.
grasp it without. But yeah, so we know we're getting the Tom Holland trilogy, which is great because where they've taken the character is a place that we're all very excited about.
Yep.
And I remember my biggest qualm with how they introduced his character and then where they went with him in Homecoming was all the Stark tech. I'm like, that's not what makes Spider-Man unique. That he's got this unique suit that sprouts arms and has different varieties of web shooters.
Yeah.
So I love that he is back at the ground level. That's outstanding. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with that character in the future. That's great.
Yeah.
How about Venom? Let's talk about Venom real quick.
Okay.
Because I feel like they did us dirty with that end credits scene
100%.
at Venom Let There Be Carnage where they bring Venom into the MCU. They just ripped him right back out.
You know, remember how excited I was that he was there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
My heart broke. But I mean, we're getting the symbiote. There's other ways you could have introduced that without
poppycock.
playing with me.
Just poppycock.
Again, magic. Why is that symbiote? Why is that one drop left? Like
Right.
again,
Right. It's
just-
like, come on. Like, either all or nothing. Like, that was... That
You
was...
just happen to have a baby at that time. Like,
Ugh.
what are the odds?
Right. That was dissatisfying. Because I saw Venom Let There Be Carnage with you. The movie was fine.
Yep, that's a great,
Yep.
accurate statement.
But I would take that version of Venom in the MCU against and alongside or however set up as an adversary to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I would take that. That'd be great. And so now I feel like we were told, yes, you're going to get it. And then, psych, you're not. And it makes me super nervous because, boy, the first swing they took with Venom in Spider-Man 3 wasn't great. And they've got a good fit with Tom Hardy and his take on the character, so I'm not very confident that they're going to do it well. Love to be proven wrong.
As long as they don't use the Flash Thompson we have in the MCU to be the next Venom, we will be okay. We will be okay. I trust
will bring
Kevin.
the torches.
I trust Kevin Feige.
Writing.
I trust Kevin Feige. But I swear to God, if it is that motherfucker who dons that suit, I'm done.
We're out. We're done.
We're
We're
out.
done. At least we'll always have this movie to come back to.
If it was Amazing Spider-Man's Flash Thompson, I'm cool with that because that dude looks like a soldier.
Yes. I actually felt like it fit the.
That was the best Flash we've had, probably.
I didn't even think about that. It's a good call.
Yeah.
I have zero memory of that Flash. So
It
I'll
was
take
either
your word
Joe
for it.
DiMaggio, or not Joe DiMaggio, it was,
Joe DiMaggio.
John,
Is he dead? Magic again?
Who's
back? I know who you're talking about.
who's the dude who plays
Yep.
Deathstroke?
Yep. Really unique last name, but I know exactly who you're referencing. Yep.
Ignore that.
Yeah.
And then
Joe is correct.
the blonde guy, and then
No.
this dude. These are great descriptions of
Yeah, no.
if you've ever seen them.
Physical characteristics.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. All right. What other Spider-Man things you want to throw out there, guys, before we transition to Hawkeye? Just because we need to. We need to talk
I think
about
that's
Hawkeye.
it. I think as long as they, bring back some like classic Spider-Man supporting cast members now, and then give us villains we haven't seen. Craven's probably the number one requested right now.
Yeah.
If we get an old school Rhino, I'm cool with that.
How about Alistair Smythe?
That would be all right. That would be
That would
totally
Really
okay.
nice. It'd fit in with the whole like J. Jonah Jameson thing. Like,
I don't know if I'd want him to be the main, but being a supporting like villain, kind of like he
Get some
was in the
Spider
90s
Sense in
cartoon.
yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with Hammerhead. I'm cool with
Ooh.
which is not a main. I don't want him to be the main guy either, but him being a supporting cast with like
If you know Beetle at all.
That's
Several iterations, but that could be a
that's a weird one, but I like
nice
it.
mid-tier.
I would honestly, I would love Kingpin being
You know
a
what?
main
Yes.
focus.
Yes. Other than, well, segue.
Perfect segue.
Wow.
Man, we could just get hit by a car right now and just fly into this one,
Wow.
couldn't we?
So speaking of Kingpin,
Gosh, is he alive?
Yeah. Yep.
They
he's
kill him?
alive.
He's alive. Which, by the way, dumbest exiting scene ever. Because you know he's alive. There's actually like comic panels that I've been seeing like come up on Instagram, and it was like,
She tells him off.
well, no, because she shoots him like that, and then
She actually shoots him.
yeah, she actually shoots him. But the panel of him, the next panel you see him, he's blind, or something's over his eyes. And he's like this, and that's it.
Yep. It's right before the Bendis run on Daredevil, which is incredible.
Shout out.
Incredible run.
Nice job, Brian.
Yeah. That couldn't have been a worse ending for that character in that episode. That was just foolish, because if he's dead, you just wasted an outstanding villain.
I think they actually killed him.
I don't think so.
And if they did, that is awful.
Yeah.
That is awful. And if they didn't, it's still dumb. It's like, what are you doing messing with us like this? Like, there's no way you really killed him off with Maya Lopez in an alley with a pistol. Spare me. My guy just got blown up by all the trick arrows in the world, hit by a bus or a car, who's to say? And now we're just going to off him with a single bullet.
Yeah.
Color me dissatisfied regardless. That was poor. Quite poor.
You don't introduce a character like that everybody's been like, Vincent D'Onofrio is Kingpin. You
Yeah.
bring him back. He's
so
excellent.
good.
You don't bring him back for an episode and then kill him off. You just don't. There's no way. And then you bring back Charlie Cox and Spider-Man, which we didn't really talk about.
talk about that.
But
That was incredible. That
really
was
good
incredible.
lawyer. That was
Wow.
beautiful.
The catch of the brick.
But you don't bring him back and just to have Kingpin come back for an episode. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah. It was
Oh.
too bad. It was
Yes.
too bad. Yeah. Okay, so there's the end of the episode. Backtracking to the beginning.
Bro.
Okay, yeah, bro. Were any of us surprised that Kate Bishop's mom was the bad guy this whole time?
No.
No,
No.
shouldn't have been.
No.
Although I thought the husband was going to be, or the fiance was
Jack,
going to be
yep.
way more involved than he was.
I agree.
Yep. They did a good job with his character of dangling him in front of us as the potential villain. I was convinced that he was bad for the first couple episodes, and then as we saw more of his character, I realized, no, it's not him. He has nothing to do with it.
I still think
His-
he's dangled too.
Well, yeah.
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 We'll see. He has a brief stint in the hero lane
Okay.
in the comic books. So like he gets like recommended by Cap at one point, and I think he rolls with the Avengers very, very briefly. So, but I'm more familiar with him as the guy who kind of raised Clint and his younger brother in the circus.
That's so great that he actually raised Clint in the comics. That's great.
He runs the circus, has a
Yep.
huge gambling problem, and ends up the circus gets robbed, right? And he's like training Hawkeye
As
how to do
circuses
everything.
do.
Turns out Clint finds Swordmaster as the one who's actually robbed them, confronts him, runs up on a tightrope. Swordmaster chucks a sword at him, cuts the line off. Clint falls. Swordmaster thinks he's dead. Swordmaster takes off.
Whoa.
Clint goes off and becomes Hawkeye.
Wow.
Obviously, we didn't get any of that.
We didn't get that.
We didn't get any of that.
We're
We just had to
getting
track.
robbed. We're getting
Right?
robbed.
But
Yeah.
he's hilarious. Like, such a...
That's
yeah,
great.
So funny.
He was outstanding. Yeah, I enjoyed his character arc from start to finish. The misdirection that I fell for the first few episodes, I'm not even embarrassed. I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's great. Well
Yeah.
done. You got me. You got me. You did. First 3 episodes I was in. But I just loved it. Was it the 5th episode where he gets taken away by the cops? He's just like,
yeah.
I've never worked a day in my life. And he's so proud of it. He's just like, no, it can't be me. I don't work.
Yeah.
Just incredible how he's just wearing it like a badge of honor. Like, no, this can't be me, you
He
guys.
shows up to the party with a sword, and Clint is like, so we got put away for later with a sword, and then comes back out wearing a sword.
Yep.
Nice seeing that.
Yeah, bold move. Really bold move. Jack was great. Tell you what, Yelena, fantastic. Enjoyed having her in the previous episode. It was incredible. And then in this episode, incredible as well.
She's great.
She is great.
A lot more emotional than I thought it was going to be,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was good.
She was great.
Her and Kate's banter is
Did not
hilarious.
see that coming at all.
It was
I was
just
not expecting any of that.
like, I don't want to kill you, but I will. And she's like, nah, don't kill me. And it's like the whole thing.
But are you going to do it? Oh, man.
It did. Yeah, that was great. It made me wonder why. This is how I felt throughout this series. I like the comic a lot that this series is based off of or draws a lot of inspiration from, and I enjoy the dynamic between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop in the comic. I'm not sure that I can really pick out a point in this series that when it was Kate Bishop and Clint Barton together that I felt like that's a really solid pairing. Like that there was a good dynamic between those two characters. It just never seemed to click for me. Maybe it did for others, but for me, never quite fell into place. Anybody feel differently about that one?
I mean, I think it got better as it went on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think give it time.
Sure.
Like, I don't think it was that bad. It made sense.
Yeah.
You think about it, like I've known for a week. There's like a brief window midway through the series. I don't remember what episode it was, where they were kind of like bouncing with each other, actually agreed to kind of work with each other.
Yep.
Right before he like
Cuts
the
her
plug.
off.
Like that part, I feel like, oh, this feels pretty fluid.
Sure.
Feels like this is working here.
Sure.
And then end fight sequence, them like flying around each other. Seemed
Seemed a little thin. Yeah. I just didn't end up liking this series very much. There are bits and pieces
I'm sad.
that I enjoyed. I am too. I wanted to enjoy it. I love the character of Hawkeye. I love this portrayal of Hawkeye and Clint Barton. I just felt like the storytelling was super sloppy. Just super sloppy. Like The Watch. They made a huge freaking deal out of The Watch from episode 1. Forgot about it for a couple episodes. Brought it back up again later. Like, oh, remember The Watch, you guys.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
Watch. Then it's a big deal again in episodes 4 and then kind of in 5. And then by the end, crap, we got to tie off The Watch. It's yours.
By the way, you called that.
Yes.
You did.
Hook, line, and sinker. You
Yes.
called that. I was like, damn, JP was right.
Tell you what, I'm a great test taker. Multiple choice. You just process of elimination. No. Only one left. It's got to be Laura Barton.
I thought they were going to tee up some new character, honestly.
Sure.
I thought that's what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, oh, and then...
Which would have been way cooler.
And it's too bad that they were so disjointed with that aspect of the story because, boy, do I have a lot of things that I would love to know about what her history with
Oh, yeah, for sure.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is. Like, was she... And we assume that's where she and Clint met.
Had to be.
Somewhere along the lines. Did she ever go on a mission with, like, Natasha, for example?
Oh, for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So there was so much potential there that was just, it felt like done a disservice by how they concluded, where it's just like, hey, here's the watch, honey. Guys.
Yeah.
Like, you set it up, and then also, they made it a big deal. It seemed to be a big deal that Clint, like, oh, we got to get the watch, otherwise they're going to figure out that it's my wife. Who's going to know? Like, if they get that watch, they're just going to see shield symbol, Rolex, deal.
There's got to be stuff inside of it, would be my guess. But we never see
But,
that.
like, unless it pops open with a picture of Laura Barton that says, hi, this is my watch.
What's up? I'm
like,
Mockingbird.
right. It's like, how is it incriminating to her? I wasn't impressed with it. I was like, you missed, guys.
They never explained why Kingpin was after that in the first place.
True.
It's never explained why he
Exactly.
wants her specifically.
Right.
Did
Right.
they make the bad guys make a deal about the watch at one point?
That's
Or was
what
that just-
that's what they robbed the place for in the first place.
That was the initial.
They were going for
They
the
were going
watch.
for the
Okay,
watch.
I couldn't remember if it was that or if it was just generic, like, hey, we know this is going down. They're
Right,
trying
but
to
it was
do
never
stuff.
explained why.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was. We don't need to take more time on other aspects of the storytelling that were underwhelming, but I just thought compared to so many of the other Marvel movies and the Marvel TV shows, this just wasn't up to par. Was it a disaster of a show?
No.
No. There are disasters of shows out there. This was not it.
True.
But it wasn't up to just the standard that I've come to expect, and that disappointed me because I really was looking forward to this show. And there were different times where I thought, oh, they've got it. Like when Yelena showed up, when there were those brief glimpses of, hey, Clint and Kate seem to be jiving together. And, oh, there's some misdirection with Jack. There's the wash. But it never quite coalesced. Like at the end, Clint Barton getting caught in a freaking Christmas tree? I understand. He falls into it, but why is he hanging on helpless like a cat?
Still, yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough. So,
What was the owl doing? Was it just like it's just like
No clue about that owl.
it was just
so
there? It was
confused.
just like looking cute. That was it.
I
The
guess
CG
so.
owl.
I didn't understand.
I guess so.
Like I mean,
I guess so.
it's not gonna be crazy that an owl lives in the tree, but why is
Yeah.
that important at all?
Yeah.
It feels like to me that the writers had like a direction they wanted to go.
Sure.
And then Marvel's like, "You want Vincent D'Onofrio?" And they're like, "Yes." And then they're already halfway through the show, and they're like, "Shit, where are we gonna put him?" And then they're like, "I guess the last episode. We have 4.5 episodes
Right.
filmed already."
Maybe they just ran out of time.
And
That's
then
what I was right. Should they have made it longer?
I don't think they should have made it longer. They should have provided some of the reveals sooner. Like, show that Eleanor Bishop is in league with the Kingpin in episode 4.
or 3.
Bring the King or 3. Bring the Kingpin in a full episode by episode 5 at the latest. Instead, they just backloaded everything, which then they ran out of time because they couldn't bring a strong resolution to the storylines, to the characters, and the show just ended. It's like, what?
Because
That's it?
I give zero shits about an Echo show. I do not care.
No,
I
me
don't
too.
I don't want to see it. I don't really care. They gave me nothing to go off of why I want to see this character.
Yeah.
She shot the Kingpin. She shot him. That's it. That's the coolest thing she did. Otherwise, she got her ass kicked 95% of the time in this show.
Yeah. She really doesn't, even like comic book standpoint, she rolls with Daredevil like initially.
Yep.
And like kind of like runs around that circle, current wielder of Phoenix Force or something like that.
Oh my
like right around
gosh.
there.
Who hasn't
right?
been?
And that's like the only like worthwhile thing she's done.
Yeah.
She was Ronin for a little bit too. So I was
Yes.
thinking
Sure.
Hawkeye'd be like, "Here you go.
That would have
Go kill people with this." And then that didn't happen either.
Barbecue.
We have no idea what her mission is now. We don't know what she's gonna do.
No.
She had one fight that she won, and that was against the other dude. And then she didn't really want to kill him. He kind of killed himself. And then I was just like, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not
Yeah.
your fault.
No, not in a solo show sense. Like,
And they were hyping that up like, oh, this show's gonna be sick.
yeah,
They
I don't
spent too
know.
much on her. They spent way too much time developing her character.
They
And
didn't.
again, there wasn't much of a resolution
But they
to her
didn't re-
character. It was just she was there doing stuff.
They didn't really figure out what they wanted to do. They didn't even. It would have been cooler if they introduced Kingpin earlier. They build that relationship so you're like, oh, I can see why she calls him uncle.
Yeah.
And then instead, it's just like the last episode. They're like, oh, we love each other, but she betrayed me. And you're like, how do you know she betrayed you? She just wants out. Like, what?
Yeah, just too thin. So I hope it's not. I hope it's not like the end for the Hawkeye character as we've seen him.
Thank God Clint's not dead.
Right.
That'd have been
Right.
that would have been a
would've
major bummer.
Major disaster.
Yep. So I hope we get more of Clint Barton. I understand if it's in a reduced capacity, but I feel dissatisfied with that particular conclusion of his character.
The rumor I've heard is West Coast Avengers, and he'd be leading it, which is what happened in the comics. So
Okay.
with him and Rhodey, because
Sure.
Rhodey was like Iron Man at the time.
Interesting.
So
Nice.
Think about that.
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
that-
there's
that's just one
opportunities there.
rumor I saw.
There's opportunities there. Yeah, and Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop. I haven't seen Haley Steinfeld in a lot. True Grit, phenomenal movie.
Great movie.
Much younger Haley Steinfeld at the time. I'm not quite there yet. Like, Yelena, when she's in this show, is so dang good. So
Yeah.
dang good. Like, I can't wait for more of her Black Widow. And yet I don't feel nearly as strongly about Kate Bishop. So, not not throwing her off the building. But
She does well
I need
with
to
that.
see more. Right, she actually recovers well, but need to see more before I get too excited.
I was okay with her. I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and then obviously Yelena is the best thing to come out of that show, probably.
it's outstanding. So that I agree. Gave her more time after the Black Widow movie, so it's good things.
It showed how quick the snap was too, which I thought was interesting.
That was beautiful.
From
Yep.
their
I
perspective.
enjoyed that
Yep.
so much getting to see that.
Good call.
Like it was like they were gone for 5 seconds.
Good
That's what
catch.
they thought. They were gone for 5 seconds. They
Right.
come out as 5 years.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Ooh,
That was cool.
that would be tough to deal with. Good things. All right. Anything else we want to hit on with Hawkeye?
I mean, I think that's it.
I think
They
that's all it
didn't
needs to be.
because they didn't really they didn't lead off with anything. We have
No.
nothing to go off of.
No. Trick arrows were neat. Like the trick arrows.
Oh, I know.
Rant moment. How
We
dare
almost got
how how dare you make me sit through a 3-minute
Yup.
musical
Yup,
and
I
not
know.
give me a teaser trailer? Screw you.
Oh.
That was bullshit.
That was
and
terrible.
the worst part is, okay, because I have my roommate with me.
It was so bad.
Shout out to Chance. He's with me,
Sorry, guy.
and he's sitting, he's watching this. He's like, Riley, why are you watching this? And I go, dude. I was like, there's got to be an end credit scene.
Yeah.
This
Wait for someone in the crowd.
this is gonna pay
Have
off.
something.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe they came back. I don't know. And then it ended, and I looked at him.
That
and
was
I'm
the
like,
final insult.
I looked at him,
That
and he
was it.
goes, "Way to waste 3 minutes." And, and then I went and cried. I didn't need that, nor did I want it.
No.
So
No.
that was bullshit.
No. That was.
At least the Captain America one was like,
None of us wanted that.
well, so you're here at the end of the movies. That one was at least okay and funny.
Right.
But that was just,
That was just Ron.
Yeah.
That was
why?
mean. That was mean.
Yeah.
That was mean spirited.
Because we wanted it. We did it look like we all wanted a full version of that musical? Absolutely not.
False. Still don't want it. Still don't after 3 full minutes. We don't want it.
Did you guys watch the whole thing of that too?
Afraid so.
Yeah.
Afraid
Okay,
so.
at least I'm
I
not
got
the
drawn
only
right
one.
in like there's got to be a payoff here. There's got to be a payoff here. Got to be a payoff.
I thought I was gonna see. I thought I was gonna see Bruce Banner in the
There's
crowd, and him just being like, "What the heck?"
Which would have been great.
That would have been hilarious. Like,
Or just Paul Rudd's Ant-Man being like,
oh, in tears.
I was
In
totally
tears.
there.
Weeping. Just weeping.
That would have been funny.
the sexiest man
That's all
alive
it
just
was
shows
taken.
up.
Paul Rudd.
Man, God bless Paul Rudd.
Bless you, buddy.
Gosh.
All right, Ryan. I think that does it.
I think it does too.
That's it. That's it. Thanks for
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah,
guest
thank you.
appearing.
Thanks for
wow.
having me, guys.
Wow.
This was
Anytime you want to come back from California and pop on, you
absolutely.
know, every couple
Absolutely.
of weeks. This is where we're at.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, just book your plane ticket now.
Yeah. it's already done.
On that note,
That's great.
I think we're just going to wrap it up.
Let's
So, God bless.
Peace.